And welcome everybody to the Huddle, KGUT9 streaming sports talk show. I'm Jason Barr, joined by Pat Paris. We come to you each Tuesday at this time. Pat, good afternoon. How are you today?
Pretty good. Crazy weather out there. I don't know if you noticed, it started raining. This is Tuesday afternoon at 3 and rain when it was supposed to be 95 and dry.
I noticed the cloud cover, a little bit of a surprise there. All right, so our guest today is Sugar Skulls head coach Hurtis Chinn, who is nice enough to join us here on the Huddle. Hurtis, thanks so much. Pat and Jason, how are you? And boy, 2-0. You're off to a terrific start. Not just 2-0, Coach Chinn, but 2 road games, one of them being at Arizona. How you feeling about things after 2 games here?
I'm feeling pretty good. That was a big victory for us. Being that we actually played twice in the same week. With a crew that's, half veteran, half rookies. They came and they handled it well out there. So, and it's something that we should be proud of.
I talked to you before you went up there. I think I talked to you on Friday, and I asked if your guys knew about this rivalry. Well, they know about this rivalry now, and they also know that it is a rivalry because you've beaten them two times in back-to-back years.
Yes. So they were aware of it actually when they stepped in the building. They realized the energy, the tension from the other team. It was all business from both sides, and they was ready for the challenge. They turned it up. And even at halftime, they was like, okay, in-state rivalries. You heard some of the players saying it in the locker room. They accepted the challenge and went out there and played well.
I want to go back to the first game because this was not just at San Diego, but at San Diego on a Monday night, when San Diego State was playing for the national championship. So I can't imagine, look, we love the IFL, but, listen, it's the night that the local team's playing for the championship. I understand that possibly they put part of the game up on the video scoreboard. And
yes,
I know there weren't a ton of fans there. What was the atmosphere like in that game? And, I'm sure as a coach, you got tunnel vision on the game, but can you take us back to what that experience was like?
We were aware of it even the night before when we all went to dinner. That was all that was talked about in the city of San Diego. So when we was there, being at halftime and a little out halftime, we saw the scoreboard lit up, and some of our players of their own was watching the game, and we had to reel them back in and like, hey, we have a game of our own. Our game is not over. Come and finish what we started. And we did have to redirect their attention to finish this game because it was a little bit of a distraction.
Yeah, you were able to finish that game, and you were able to finish the game against the Rattlers as well. You're 2-0. A couple of stats that really jump out. Of course, you're the way you call plays. You've got Ramon Atkins now running it. You still have Mike Jones. You're going to be one of the top teams in the IFL in offense. But you're third right now after 2 games in defense, allowing 32 points a game. What has been the big turnaround?
First and foremost, the way we handle off-season recruiting. And on top of that, Coach Jackson and Coach Hendricks, they go out there and they put the work in. So we have players that bought into the Tucson way of doing things. So we got our own culture built here, and that starts from the ownership on down. And those guys are flying around out there, and they're just trying to make a presence known each and every down that is played. So it started with off-season recruiting, getting some good quality defensive coaches in here on the back end to join with Coach Jackson on the front end, and they work well together.
Hurtis, I wanted to talk about closing at the end of games. This was something that the Sugar Skulls have had an issue with before. Then you go and you play the Rattlers, and it's a 2-score game. Then it becomes a 1-score game. And I know in my head, I'm thinking, uh-oh, is this something that you had to talk about with the players or instill, or is it just part of the culture, or you just do what you do? How have you been able to close at the end of games?
A lot of off season. You put the work in on the off season, so you go through scenarios. Even in practice, we practice different scenarios that comes up during games. So we get the players mentally prepared for each scenario. And when scenarios come about, you handle them calmly. And one thing I learned about coaching: if you present things calmly to them, the players will be calm and they'll handle it in a certain way. Nobody will get out of themselves, do anything that's uncharacteristics of themselves or the team, and you just stay the course. But it started with a lot of off-season and being aware of the moment, the situation, and taking advantage of them and closing games out.
Hurtis Chinn, the head coach of the Tucson Sugar Skulls, is our guest. You had to do some recruiting offensively as well, but you were able to get Ramon Atkins. Talk about what kind of player he is coming over from Duke City. As a rookie last year, he was sensational.
Yes.
To get a guy to come in like that when we've only had great quarterbacks here in the short time the Sugar Skulls have been in existence. What was it like to recruit him, and what does he bring to the table for you?
He brings us a sense of calm leadership. Those things that me and Ramon spoke about over the phone when we were recruiting him here, even with ownership, with Kathy Guy. One thing about Ramon is when players look at him, no matter the situation, they believe that they will be okay. Everything will be fine, and that's how he is. He just presses forward. Being that he did not even have a full season under his belt, he came in here with as an understudy and as a student of the game. So Ramon is constantly on my phone, on my FaceTime, in my office about persistently being better, doing better, and being here for those guys. And they all took him in with welcoming arms. He is a true definition of a leader on and off the field. He's a guy you don't have to worry about off the field, and we love him being here.
What's the difference between going from a coordinator to a head coach? Big difference between being a number 2 and a number 1. What type of an adjustment has that been for you?
Just the overall picture. Being an offensive coordinator, you have to worry about one side of the ball. Now I have to, focus on, overseeing everything, even the defense. Coach Jackson, Coach Hendricks, they both come in there in my office. Even Coach Nelson, our offensive line coach, they have to come in there and put, game plans on my desk and show me, what they're doing, why this makes sense, and how it gives other team challenges. In the past, I've just had to worry about offense. So now it's just been a bit of an overseer of everything now. That's the major difference.
We just saw right there, Carrington Thompson on that onside kick that the Rattlers put forth, and he scooped the ball up and scored. Special teams was an area we've seen the Sugar Skulls struggle. On last game, Saturday night, you guys excelled at special teams.
Yes, and that was something, even us playing, being one of the last teams on film, we got a chance to watch around the league, other teams and their special teams. And, that was a collective unit, from me, Coach X, Coach Nelson, and Coach Hendricks to like, hey, we will be good on special teams. Even when we recruited players to come in from the offseason, we told them, if you're not good on special teams, if you're not willing to put it on the line on special teams, then Tucson is just not the place for you. So it comes with a certain amount of want to, and our players want to. They have been doing well so far, and we're going to continue to do well.
Tell us about this new rule at the end of games, or is it just at the end of the first half, where in the past the clock. So let's say you've got a lead and you're trying to protect the lead. In the past, the clock would only stop if you gain forward yardage, but now the clock stops. You can kneel the ball. Is that correct? Is that just not at the end of games? What type of difference does that make? It seems like to me that helps the team that's ahead. Give me your thoughts on the new rule, and if I explained it correctly.
Yes, you explained it correctly, and that's exactly what happened. So the major difference now is that you have to be aware of your timeouts. You have to manage the game well, and it is at the end of games only. In the past, if you didn't gain a yard at the end of the game, it was like a timeout for you. Now, things have changed. You have to manage your timeout. So moving forward towards the end of the game, if you don't have 3 timeouts on that board, if you had to burn those timeouts at the beginning of the second half, or you use 2 in the third quarter, they will come back to bite you towards the end of the game. So now it's about managing your timeouts, being more prepared of each situation, knowing when to, hey, you might have to take a delay of game, in the third quarter now, to save yourself a timeout that you may need towards the end of the game. So it's a huge difference.
Yeah, certainly is. Hurtis, I think it's interesting that you found your quarterback, Ramon Atkins, out of mighty New Mexico Highlands. And then you yourself, you're from Western New Mexico, which I think around here, maybe people have heard of Western New Mexico, but I doubt many have heard about New Mexico Highlands. Is that a New Mexico thing with you two guys? What's going on there?
We both spoke about our experiences in New Mexico. So when I went to junior college over the street there in Yuma, Arizona, I transferred to Western New Mexico and Silver City, New Mexico. And it was quite an experience for me being from Miami, Florida. It was a different experience. And he spoke about his experiences there in New Mexico also. And that was just another way for me and Ramon to connect on an off the field basis, off the field situations, to just connect with each other.
I'm guessing there's a little culture shock from Miami Beach, let's say, to Silver City, New Mexico.
I can remember my coach one time, and I might have been in spring practice. Snow flurry started to come down. I looked around. He looked at me and said, "It feels just like South Beach, doesn't it?" I looked at him and shook my head and like, "Next play, coach."
Next play, coach. Yeah. I'll piggyback on that. You know, Hurtis, when you take a look at it in an indoor football league team roster and they list the schools, it's almost always smaller schools or smallish schools. And my thought on that was, well, maybe that's the case because a lot of the guys who have played on Power 5 schools, they've all been evaluated and they've been all looked at. But some guys maybe fly under the radar and they're still keeping that dream alive of going to the next level. Is that an accurate assessment? And if not, what do you think the reason is that so many guys are from smaller schools who play in the indoor football league?
That definitely is an accurate assessment. I call this league the league of opportunity and the league of the talented that's overlooked. So that's what this league about, and that's why we love getting a community and local businesses and partners involved in it as a whole. So when it comes to this league is, thrive on young men like that from smaller schools that, necessarily they was overlooked. So you get, the partnership we have with the XFL. They can come to our league and say, hey, we might have overlooked a few guys from smaller schools, depending on the situation of why and how they got there. Let's just go towards the IFL and see what they have over there. Me, myself, coming from Western New Mexico, when I played, I was overlooked. And that's what drew me into coaching in this league. That's why I have so much passion and excitement for players and for this league and for the Tucson Sugar Skulls, because, a lot of smaller school players does get overlooked, and we're here to help them.
One of the reasons why you were hired, I think, Hurtis, was your ability to, be part of Tucson, be here in Tucson, work with not only your players, but in the community and work them into the community. How is that going so far now as a head coach?
It's going great. I actually love, being at, certain restaurants, even walking through the mall the other day, Tucson Mall, walking, hey, coach, and I'm, hey, how are you? Just, feeling the feel of being a part of Tucson, being a part of the community. Like I tell people, it's the difference when you just shake someone's hand and you can actually shake their hand or sit down with them over a cup of coffee, have a conversation, and just get to know people. That was been a beautiful experience for me. I've took it all in. I'm enjoying it and happy to be here.
So I feel like I should ask you about your name, because before I got to know you, I even know of you, I would want to call you Hurtis Chinn, right?
Yes.
And I'm sure people messed that up before. And I feel like the late John Madden, if he was broadcasting one of your games when you were playing, would have a field day, it's Hurtis Chinn, a name like that, man. You don't want to go up against the guy named Hurtis Chinn. I mean, not only is he going to hurt you, he knows exactly where he's going to hurt you. Right in the chin, man. So,
yes.
So I want to know about your name. Is this something that people have complimented you on growing up, made fun of you, asked you about, gotten wrong? Tell us all about the name Hurtis Chinn.
When I was in elementary, I was kind of popular growing up because of sports in elementary. So they would say like, oh, don't hurt his chin, make those jokes when we were younger. And then when I got to high school, the PA announcer, anytime I make a big run when I play running back, they would say, oh, that was Hurtis, don't hurt him chin on the carry. That became a big thing in Miami over the PA announcement. So it was kind of a word play on my name growing up, and I just embraced it. I even used to have a shirt that said "Don't hurt him" on the back of my shirt because of that in high school. But I embraced it, and it's fine. I love it.
Yeah. So that might be, if you were playing in the XFL, maybe that would be what we'd have on the back of your jersey.
Yes. Yes.
Except it'd be his real name. He Hate Me is who you're referring to.
Yeah.
His real name was Rod Smart, right?
Yep.
Yes.
I think he got a cup of coffee with the Eagles. If I'm not
did. He played.
Yes, he did.
Yeah.
Yeah. But that wasn't his real name. This is Hurtis's real name.
No, it's his real name for sure. For
Yeah,
sure.
this is actually my real name.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I sometimes when I introduce myself and talk to people and they'll look at me as Curtis, I'm like, no, Curtis with an H. You know?
Hurtis with an H. Hey, Hurtis, you guys got out to a great start, 2-0, but we all know that this league is about how you're playing, and in the last 2 games of the regular season into the playoffs,
Yes.
everybody gets better. How do you keep getting this team to get better each week?
It's about managing the roster. It's going to be injuries during this course of the season. And on our division is extremely tough. Our division is a week-to-week division. Anybody can beat anybody in our division. We all know it. And just knowing that and having that in the back of our minds, the players are aware of it. Some of the players are friends with other people from other teams and realize they're talented also. So being that we are aware of that situation, we know that we have to go put the work in every day, every week of practice. We have to be dedicated to watching film and taking care of our bodies to be feeling good about ourselves in the last couple of weeks of practice. So when you get to that back stretch of the season, you want players to feel good physically because they'll tell themselves mentally they're fine and they'll go play harder. So that's something we focusing on here. Strength and conditioning is a key essential thing, and just managing those rosters. So when we do have injury, replacing people with quality young men that can play the game and learn quickly, it's just going to be important on the back stretch.
All right, last one for me. I mean, you open the season with 3 road games. That's not very easy to do. Certainly, you've won your first 2, so that makes things a little smoother as you head into Bay Area, and then the home opener. So how do you see the game coming up this week, and how much are you looking forward to finally getting a home game afterwards and coming back to the Tucson Arena to make your home debut as coach?
It's going to be a tough game. I know, the coaches over there in Bay Area putting everything they can into winning this game. They don't want to start off their season 1-2. They want to give us our first loss. Dixie is already definitely excited about this game, excited to play against Tucson. And we're aware of it. We know it. He even sent the text message, like, hey, good luck this week. The same that comes from us. We do wish him well. But we are, even before this stretch started, you had people telling us in Tucson, man, if you guys can start 2-2, that would be a great start for you all. And that was the thing they saw for us, but we just saw better for ourselves. So we're just trying to, go in here and go 1-0. That's what we're worried about at this moment. Just going 1-0, playing better. We're still not playing our best football right now. We still have a lot of work on, all phases of the game to do. And going into this game, we know there's going to be a tough battle. We just want to get through this game 1-0, and we can come back to Tucson and see how things and the chips may fall there going into the bye week. But we are definitely excited for April 22nd to come in that building to a packed house and to put on a show for our fans. Definitely.
Yeah, I don't know what the Sugar Skulls did wrong to the schedule makers, but you're going to have your first home game in about 10 days. It'll be week 6 of the IFL season. You didn't play the first 2 weeks. It'll be your 4th game. I don't quite understand that one, but I know we're going to be really excited to see you, and I know the fans cannot wait. I know some of them made it up to Phoenix on Saturday night, but I think I hope this is the year you guys get over that hump with the fan base as far as getting it full or nearly full every single game.
Yes, please come out and support us. We definitely appreciate it. I already told the players when it's time to play home, it's time to make it exciting. Do some dances, come up with some chants, go in a crowd, do whatever you can. Make this thing an experience while we're out there having fun playing this game of football. That's something the community will get behind, love, and come and support every home game we have this season.
And you alluded to it, so I should probably follow up. Certainly, Dixie Wooten, the Sugar Skulls head coach the past 2 seasons, the offensive coordinator for Bay Area. So, do you chat with him before the game, after the game, both? What's your relationship with him? A little bit awkward, but at the same time, you guys know how this business works.
Yeah, we chat both in before the game, during the game, and after the game.
During the game.
During the game, also, we're going to make it exciting. Just
Okay.
being out there on the
Well,
field.
that's right, because the coaches are on the field,
Yes.
right? Yeah.
So in passing, I might say, hey, just something like, hey, relax a little bit out there. Hey, don't think too hard about this play. Just to psychologically get into his head a little bit, just to see. But it's all in fun. We both wants to win for our team, our organization, and just to have a little channel, back and forth after the game. So we definitely want to win. He wants to win. I wants to win. Both organizations wants to win, and we're aware of it, and we're excited for it.
Well, fun is the right word. It's a fun game to watch, and I hope, as I said, that Tucson will get out and get to a game, if not all the games coming up this season.
Yes, we appreciate Tucson, and we would love to see you at the Boneyard.
All right, Hurtis Chinn, head coach of the 2-0 Tucson Sugar Skulls. That's fantastic, terrific. Thank you so much for taking some time out here on a Tuesday afternoon with a huddle with Pat Paris and myself. We'll be rooting for you this week at the Bay Area, and when you come back home for the home opener in 10 days or whatever it is. So thanks so much, and enjoy the rest of your day.
Thank you all. Let's go Skulls.
Thanks, Hurtis. All right.
That was a good chat. Yeah.
Yeah, he's a good guy. Really good.
Really, that really was. And
you know what, Jason, he can coach. I think we knew he could coach because he was a great offensive coordinator, but you never know about a head coach. And I know it's only 2 weeks in, but the turnaround they've had already on the offensive side, the defensive side of the ball, and on special teams. I mean, their defense is as good as their offense right now, which is saying a lot.
Yeah, it was hard to keep track of the first game with the championship game running simultaneously.
Yeah.
But then I saw the halftime score and
3 points they'd only let up. Yeah.
And did a double take. So yeah, for sure. All right, terrific. Well, let's see here. I'm getting all sorts of alerts here on this computer. That's why I'm pausing here. But yeah, terrific. Okay. All right. Well, hey, looking outside, Pat, and I don't see the rain, but
no, it went through real quick, but it was a wild day. It was almost, I don't know, almost reminiscent of a monsoon kind of day where clouds rolled in here in the later part of the afternoon. A little shower broke out, but it's now passed already. So not quite monsoon yet.
No, a little taste of it. All right. Yeah. For Pat Paris, I'm Jason Barr. This has been the Huddle on KGUN9, all of our streaming apps and everything. You know how to watch us: Roku, OTT, YouTube, Facebook, all that good stuff. Thanks so much for taking time out, either live or on the tape delay later in the week. So we appreciate it, and we'll see you right back here next week for the Huddle.